that as that quality in a leader. So she's been with us just for a week. We know that she's committed to helping our organization move forward, committed to the folks that we serve. If we were face to face, we could really give her our usual, warm Your Voice, Your Value conference. Those of you who've been in those conferences in the past, you know how much fun we have. We clap and we cheer for people. So we're not in person, we're virtual, but let's just do a virtual clap. So, might seem silly, you might be sitting at home alone, but let's everybody clap for Dana and say, welcome to our organization. Yay, Dana. Thanks so much. I know she can't hear it, but I believe that many of you are clapping. You're excited as we are. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our new executive director, Dana Lansby.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much, Vicki, for that kind and gracious introduction. It reminds me of when you talk about our public health system. When I used to work with Mr. Tom Watkins a few years back, he always talked about the uncertainty of the system, and it's not if it will change, it's when. And so I am so dedicated and committed to making sure that we're ready for any of those changes that are before us. So we know we are the strength of the system. So as Vicki mentioned, I've only been in my role for about a week, not even a week, maybe 4 days now. And I know it's an amazing organization. And I already see the talent throughout the organization and throughout our community. So my framework is really just to make sure that we continue on this path to greatness and that we keep the public health system public so that the people we serve and the people that serve the people clearly put people first and their needs first. So my goal as a leader is to build upon the existing foundation. We need to expand on initiatives that are working really well, and there are a lot of initiatives I've already seen in the last few days that are working extremely well. And then the other initiatives I'm familiar with as working as a partner from Detroit Wayne. But we really need to look in how we improve in those areas where it's necessary and then learn what I can from the people of our community. I'm really committed. And like Vicki said, the COVID has put a lot of barriers in the way, but we're going to work around those barriers. We're going to find ways to connect to one another. I think this role is very critical in engaging with the people we serve. One of the things that's very meaningful to me is I'm actually a resident of Oakland County. I live in Southfield. I have lived in Southfield for about 22 years now. So this is my home. So I'm very committed in working to get to know everyone, our community partners, our stakeholders, and to build relationships rooted in trust and transparency. I don't take this commitment lightly. I think this is something that I've been probably working towards my entire career to be in a position where I can really walk the walk and serve people. So your voices matter greatly to me. Your views are valued, and I will do my very best to earn your respect and your confidence. So just a little bit about myself. I know saying this will make some people a little irritated, and some people will be okay with it or even excited. But I'll promise to make it up to you. I'm married. I have a husband of 25 years, 2 kids. My husband and I are MSU alum, so we went to Michigan State. So I know that may get some boos already, but my daughter is actually a graduate of U of M. So always say it took 2 Spartans to make a Wolverine. So that's how I'm going to make up to this audience. The other thing is I want to really focus on why this position is so critical to me. On a personal note, I've always worked in this area. I knew even in high school that I wanted to be a psychologist. All the years I thought I wanted to be an attorney, and I had my first psychology class. So here I am today. The other thing about it is it was very important to me to also learn the social and clinical skills, but also the business skills. And I think sometimes we get away from that. And why I think that's so important is because the advocates that are on this phone, including myself, we're ambassadors. We have to know how services should be provided. We have to advocate where we can see outcomes. We have to make things measurable. And the way I look at it is even with my own personal story with my son's story, actually, and I'll share briefly, is that he's someone who requires special services in school, throughout school. Even at the very beginning, we identified, had a great teacher that said, hey, we think your son may have seizure disorder. Sure enough, he did. And throughout that, it led a path to me and my husband really becoming an advocate that was knowledgeable. And often people use your title to make you do some of the work. So when I sat at the table as a parent, I was no longer a psychologist. And I realized, even though I had the background and the experience in working in this arena, when you're a parent or a family member of a loved one who needs special services and supports, you forget it's all gone. But it dawned on me the number of people who are out there that need our services and supports but don't know how to access them or ask for what they need. So that is part of what we'll be doing. One of the funny things I think about over the years, my son is now 21. He attends Oakland Community College, which is something, of course, we dreamed for him, but we never really knew how we would get him there. But through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and advocacy, we actually got him through. And so this part of this is really his story, and I hope one day he can share it. But just to tell you how critical advocacy is and how committed I am to it, I know throughout his life, I have, of course, wrote letters, talked to numerous people about what his needs are. So as he entered into high school, it was funny because I would continue on that path. That was my role, is to go into the school and make sure he had the services and supports he needs. One particular time, he was having some experiences in the classroom. I said, hey, you want me to talk to your teacher? What's going on? He said, no, I'll do it. I'll do it myself. And if I need you, I'll let you know. That was the most eye-opening experience for me. I was so proud. So it just goes to show, as we pour into the people we serve, and they're learning from us and we're learning from them, and it's not a them or us, we're learning from each other. There are some things that we can look for to see if it's really had an impact. And that to me was a true sign that, wow, I really had an impact. And so in doing that, that's just one story. I have many more, but that's what makes this role to me so critical, because I want a lot more Desmonds, a lot more people in our lives that are able to access the services and supports they need, but also can do it themselves and see the real outcomes. It's so meaningful to our lives. So again, I want to thank you all for allowing me to join you today on such short notice and providing me with this opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of 2020 Achievement and Peer Award winners. I look forward to seeing that. So again, I'm so humbled and honored to be a part of this community now. I will have definitely an open door, or a virtual door, of course, now. So I look forward to meeting and talking with all of you. Thank you again. And I think I'm turning it back to you, Vicki.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Appreciate
Thank
it. Thanks for the
you.
message. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, what a great first week you get to come to this conference. This has always been one of our flagstone events. It's just an awesome opportunity. I'm sorry you don't get to be, in the same room with the 200 plus individuals that always come, because it's just a lot of love. So I hope that we can feel and share that love through the virtual conference today. So thanks so much for your message.
Thank you.
So those of you that have attended our conference in the past know that we like to give things away. And so we try to continue to do that in this virtual conference, and we will be giving away $25 Visa gift cards. So we will have a raffle of individuals that registered for our conference. We have pulled out names, and so we are offering that $25 gift card. And our first winner for our raffle is Rhonda Evans. Congratulations, Rhonda. Yay. Let's do a little clap, 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 virtual applause. So someone will be contacting you. Will either send you via mail or email your raffle. So thanks. Congratulations. We have a few more raffles throughout the conference as well. All right. Our next speaker is, again, we've had some changes at our organization. Kathleen Kovach, who was our Deputy Executive Director for many, many years, retired and is spending more time with her mother and family. And so we do have a new executive director, but she's not new to our organization. Dr. Nicole Lawson, last year began as our deputy executive director and chief operating officer. So she has a really important responsibility, and she got thrown right into that as she started out the job, and that is to write our agency's strategic and annual plans. So we'd like to have a map of kind of where we're going to go and the things that we need to make sure that we pay attention to as we support people throughout Oakland County. So in preparation for developing the plans, Nicole's led efforts to learn more about the priorities and what's important to you and to hear your voices. She's been going around doing surveys to make sure that those things that are important to you and your values are reflected in our goals and objectives. So in addition to meeting with people, she also oversaw a community-wide survey that was sent across Oakland County. I believe we've got a lot of response to that. And that survey gave her some really key knowledge about what people were looking and thinking about. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Lawson, and she is going to share with you the results of that survey and where we're headed. Dr. Lawson.
Thanks, Vicki. And again, everyone, welcome to the Your Voice, Your Value 2020. Along with everybody else, this is one of my favorite events that we host every year. So I am absolutely thrilled to be part of it. And I know that I've had the pleasure of talking with many of you in recent months about this year's annual needs assessment and survey. And I would be absolutely remiss if I did not begin this presentation with a giant thank you. The information and the opinions that everyone provided and making sure that everyone's voices were heard are really essential and a critical piece of this planning process. This is your plan. It reflects the life priorities of the people that we support or the people that you care about as friends, families, allies, advocates, and service providers. So I'm happy to say we had about 400 responses to our needs assessment survey this year. So thank you to those of you who did either met with me and shared your thoughts and your ideas or filled out our needs assessment survey. So I'm really hopeful that you recognize some of the priorities in my presentation today that highlight some of the key components of our proposed FY 2021 annual plan. As many of you may know, the OCHN Board of Directors oversees the development of an annual needs assessment each year, and OCHN uses 3-year strategic planning cycles with an annual plan to really break down the goals and objectives every year over the course of those 3 years. So if we move into the next slide, this slide shows the various ways that we sent the survey out and really tried to connect with people to ensure we had as many people as possible have their thoughts and their ideas represented. Again, with the onset of the pandemic, it proposed some unusual challenges for us this year, but we hosted virtual meetings and got it out on as many listservs and mailed hard copies, again, to make sure that people were getting the information in as many ways as possible in order to get as many thoughts, ideas, and opinions turned back in as we could. So the next slide will highlight 2 of the new areas that we had. So in this annual plan, we had carried over the strategic areas from our 3-year strategic plan, but we also added 2 new areas to reflect on a couple of new sections of focus. And these were our customer services and recipient rights sections, as well as our focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion for the people we support, as well as our staff here at OCHN. So for the customer services and the recipient rights section, we wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of these really important resources and knew how to access them. So that gives us kind of an idea of how we can further provide information and education for anyone who maybe doesn't know how to access these really critical supports in our system. We also added the diversity, equity, and inclusion section as it is a priority for OCHN to make sure that everyone feels welcomed, included, and valued. This holds true for the people we support, our providers, our community, and our staff here at OCHN as well. And next slide, thanks. While this survey covered many areas, oh, no, back a slide, sorry. I'm not gonna review all of the responses with you today. Instead, we've highlighted just some data points that we thought may be of particular interest to this group. This slide shows the percentage of people that we know that we have a recipient rights department and know how to file a complaint if needed. So one thing we learned from this year's survey is that we still need to improve our outreach efforts to make sure that all people know this is a resource available to them to protect their rights and to express their concerns. And if we move to the next slide, this shows that the reasons people listed that might be barriers to filing a rights complaint. And again, while we still have some work to do to make sure that people don't feel afraid and that they feel very comfortable advocating and filing a rights complaint if they feel that's necessary, we also learned that thankfully 91% of the people who responded to the survey said that they would indeed file a recipient rights complaint if they felt it was necessary. And so this tells us that most people are willing to advocate for themselves, feel comfortable for doing so, as well as advocate for others. And that was really wonderful for us to see. The next slide, as I mentioned, OCHN is focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion for our staff as well as the people that we support. And so the data in this slide shows the race or ethnicity of the respondents to our annual needs assessment. And you can see that 69% of the people who responded identified as white, 16% identified as Black or African American, 3% as Hispanic, Latino, or Latinx, 2.5% as Asian, and 2% as 2 or more races. 0.5% of people identified as American Indian, and about 6% of people chose not to answer the question or indicated other. And when we compare this data to the demographic data of our county as a whole, as well as the demographic data of the people that we support, we know that we did a pretty good job of getting representatives of samples of people in the white, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, or Latinx communities, but that we need to work harder next year to have better representation from the Black, African American, and American Indian communities in order to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion for everyone in this needs assessment. If we go to the next slide, another part of our diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI initiative, is that we ask people to help us better identify their Latino, Latinx, or Hispanic and Asian, which would include Middle Eastern or Western Asian ethnicity. And this is really just so that we can better understand and honor the diversity within our community and to provide better service delivery to the people we support as well as our staff. So if we look at the next slide, then that shows the breakdown of individuals who expressed or identified with an Asian ethnicity. I'm going to pause for just a moment. Okay, so if we go to the next slide, demographic questions related to sexual orientation were also new to our annual needs assessment. And again, this is for us to better understand and support our community, the people we serve, and our staff. And I think of particular importance to this group are also the priorities noted by the people we support as being very important all the way to not important at all. And as you can see in this graph, advocacy was selected as the top priority for the people that we serve, along with friendships or relationships and community participation. And so this lets us know that our ongoing advocacy, anti-stigma efforts to ensure that everyone has equitable opportunity to develop, maintain friendships, and participate in their communities is ongoing and a needed area of priority. This next slide will show the areas of importance as identified by family members of the people that we support, and advocacy, family relationships, community inclusion, and education and training were recognized as being the top concern for their loved ones. So our ongoing priorities are identified by this information that we get from the people that we serve, their friends, families, allies, and loved ones. And this is what drives change and improvement in our system. And it really helps to pave the path for the future of public mental health services. So again, thank you to those of you who participated in this survey to make your voices heard. And moving to the next slide. So with the responses of advocacy and community inclusion being so important, we also wanted to make sure that we are keeping people informed. And so we ask about where most people receive their information about advocacy initiatives. And from this slide, you can see that the vast majority of people responded that they received their information from OCHN, with local advocacy agencies and friends and family being the next two most common responses. And since so many people receive most of their information from OCHN, we want to make sure that we deliver it in a way that's both meaningful and convenient for people. And so if we go to the next slide, we will see that most people like to receive their information via email, traditional direct mail or flyers. Social media, community forums, and meetings were also top responses that we received. And so as I wrap up today, I just wanted to say again, I don't think it can be said enough. Thank you for your participation. And just to remind folks that these slides do not show data for every question that we asked in the needs assessment. We did pick those that we thought that you would find most interesting for the purposes of our conference today. But please know that we have gathered the data for every single response, every single question, and that I have personally read every single word of the feedback and the suggestions. They do matter and they are taken very, very seriously. So the next steps in the development of our annual plan is that I will be working with Dana, who you just met a little bit ago, and Anya Eliason, our CFO, as well as our board of directors to develop a draft annual plan and budget for the FY 2021 fiscal year. And we have a public forum scheduled in September for additional feedback and input. And that public forum is going to be Wednesday, September 9th from 4 to 6 p.m. So I want to, again, thank you for those of you that participated and completed the needs assessment. Thank you for using your voice to further advance and improve our system. I hope to see everyone virtually at our forum where we can continue to review the annual plan and get a peek at what's coming for FY21. So with that, I'll just pause and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, not seeing or hearing any, I think I turn it back over to Vicki. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Nicole. That was a great presentation, some very good information. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what's developed in our plan. So just a reminder that if you do have questions or comments, you can click on the little hand in the toolbar, and that'll show us that your hand is raised. We will call on you. You can unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can type into the chat, and we will read those questions out as well. So Dr. Lawson, thanks again for taking on that effort. I know you've reinvigorated and provided some new information with that survey, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see what the overall results of that is. All right, so we have another raffle. Who wants to win $25? So this is for a $25 Visa gift card. A reminder that we will either email it to you or mail it to you, so you'll be contacted. And so our second winner of the raffle is Peter Evans. Congratulations, Peter Evans. So yay. Virtual clap or clap for him in the chat. That would be awesome. So that he is our second winner, Peter Evans. Congratulations. You got $25 to do some shopping or some eating out. All right. So those of you that are online, that are through the Teams app, I'm going to throw out a question. I'm going to have you answer this next question by, again, either raising your hand or putting something in the chat. So, you know, it's 2020, and 2020 is an important year. So what do we really need to be paying close attention to and actively participating in? What is coming up that we need to be sure we're aware of, participating in? I see Donna McPherson has her hand up. You want to unmute and share?
Lloyd, you can speak.
Yes. Who? So what's happening in 2020 that's coming up? That's really important for us all to participate in.
Lloyd has something to say.
Okay, Lloyd, what is it?
I think we need to be conscious of the elections, of course. I hope everybody's aware. May the best man win. Please study the candidates, judge by the content of their character. And the census is important. And they call it a fiscal year for a reason. I hope we can all advocate for funding. So those are some of my issues that for OCHN funding, of course.
Thanks, Lloyd. You're absolutely right. It's an election year, and there were some other folks in the chat who shared that it was an election year. I see Lloyd is joining us from Dreams Unlimited Clubhouse, so I want to say a big welcome to any of our clubhouses or drop-in centers or people who are joining with their roommates. Thanks so much for joining our conference today. We know that you always come to the in-person conferences, so I'm so glad that you joined us today as well from your clubhouse drop-in or from your homes. Thanks so much. So Donna McPherson said she could not unmute. Sorry about that, Donna. Yeah, the life of virtual conferences. I'm sure you probably had the right answer, though. The answer is the election.
Yes, that's exactly what I was. Now I unmuted. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Donna. Yeah, it's important. As I said, we're going to be picking the president of the United States, the president. I mean, it's just so important. I've always felt it was important to vote. As soon as I turned 18, and I wasn't always knowledgeable about everything that was going on or who the candidates were, but I voted. And as I gotten older, I know places where I can go to find things out and to learn more about my candidates and be aware of what's going on. Again, we're also, the Oakland County executive is up for grabs. There was a big race in the primary between Dave Coulter and Andy Meisner for the Democratic ticket, and Dave Coulter won. So, even with the primaries that took place in August, that was a big deal to vote for as well. And we're going to have a presentation about voting today.
I'm here, Vicki.
Okay, thanks, Charlotte. So in just a minute. So if you voted in the August 4th election, could you raise your hand or type in the chat, I voted? Yeah. My husband and I did absentee ballots this year. We just trying to be careful. And I did deliver mine to my city clerks to make sure it got there. So I know my vote got counted. All right. I see all kinds of people saying I voted. Awesome. 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 Yeah. It's so exciting that, we take it for granted because we're just in a country that we have a lot of freedoms and liberties. And it's just important that we do that. We vote. So thanks so much. Lots of people. Thank you guys so much for voting. So as we mentioned, our next big election is November 3rd. These are really important decisions, and to help people to understand voting and different ways that you can vote, OCHN has been holding and recording a series of voting webinars. Those have been fantastic. We have 3 individuals who have been hosting those. They are recorded and on our website, but they also have been doing live sessions as well. They're going to share with us today about how important it is to vote, because it is a key way to advocate for change and improvement. So joining us today, we have 3 individuals who have been committed to this effort. We have Betty Ruas, Mark Jones, and Charlotte Richardson. So again, for our voting presentation, could you please give them a virtual round of applause? Yay! Thank you guys so much for all your time and effort in this. And if the 3 of you are ready, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, good morning. It's still morning. Welcome to your Vote Matters. Are you guys getting a lot of feedback?
Yes, we are, Charlotte.
I hear a lot, just a little bit. I think we're okay.
You know what, Vicki? I'm going to
go in and check if there are people that I can mute to help with that, then I
Okay.
will do that.
Okay. All right, Charlotte, you want to go ahead?
Okay. Welcome to Your Vote Matters. Voting is Advocacy. I'm Charlotte Richardson, the chair of the empowerment team here at OCHN, and I'm here to let you know that your vote matters and that voting is advocacy. I first want to answer who is bringing you this webinar. The who is OCHN, Oakland Community Health Network. We provide services for 28,000 adults and children with intellectual and mental concerns, also substance abuse disorders. Its mission is to inspire hope, empower people, and strengthen communities. Secondarily, I would like to answer who this webinar is for. This webinar is for anyone and everyone who does not have a disability or has a disability and is interested in voting and advocacy. The word who is all of you. Why? The why of voting. It's your right, regardless of who you are. You make a difference. It's important to advocate for yourself and others. Influence change, make a positive difference. Your voice matters and your vote counts. You have a role as an advocate for yourself to make your voice heard. Voting 101. Your vote matters. Why your vote matters? Important voting dates, deadlines for registering, how to register, and absentee voting is why your vote matters. The topics of 101, the voting process, voting assistant terminals, rights of voters in Michigan, online voting. You can find this information on the webinar, after the webinar on OCHN's website. Mark Jones will be on a little later to bring you the information on how to go to the website and reach other services. Why voting is important, part of advocacy, not just letters or calling legislators. Everyone votes counts. Everyone's votes add up. Everyone who votes is an advocate for themselves. Make your voice count. Make your vote matter. Now we will hear from Mark.
Actually, we're going to hear from Betty about what is advocacy. Or slide 8, or the next slide, please.
Hello, my name is Betty Ruiz. I am an advocate and author of 2 books and a member of Easter Seals. Today, I'm going to talk to you about advocacy. What is advocacy? If you want to bring about change, it is important that you vote. Voting is a form of advocacy. It's a form of finding the best way to improve a situation. By advocating, you can protect the rights of people to receive fair, equal, and humane treatment, improve services, eligibility for services, and enhance service quality, and you can ensure adequate funding is made available for valuable services that improve the lives of individuals with disabilities. Next slide, please. Who is an advocate? We have all been an advocate at some point in our lives. An advocate can be defined as a person who supports and fights for a cause or policy which they believe in. It can also be a person who works for a cause or group, or a person who argues for the cause of another person in a court of law, such as an attorney. Next slide. What do advocates achieve? Advocating is a great way to make your voice heard. It gives you the opportunity to make a difference. By advocating, you can influence public policy, laws, and budgets, educate government officials and community members on public issues, and initiate positive change for yourself, your family, and your community. Next slide.
Hello.
Now we will hear from Akaya on advocacy.
To be able to speak to you today about why it's so important to vote. I am in recovery, living with a mental health condition. I work for CNS Healthcare as the team supervisor for the award-winning anti-stigma program. I also serve as the vice chair of the OCHN Board of Directors. But I'm also a citizen of this great country, and I would like to see in my lifetime this country truly become one where there is liberty and justice for all of us. We're facing many challenges right now. It could be discouraging watching the news and seeing the things that are unfolding. Many of these challenges are complex and filled with emotion, but we can't allow our emotions and the things that we see paralyze us to the point that we do not exercise our privilege and honor to vote. In the United States, we're given that right. We can choose the people who make the laws and change the laws. They have the power to make this country be what the founding fathers intended when they put forth this great country so many years ago. But if we don't vote, we don't have a say. Our passion and our voice is silent. Elected officials often disregard the issues that are important to us. Why? Because we do not let our voices be heard at the ballot box. We talk a lot about advocacy, self-direction, choice, self-determination, and all of that is good. All of that's needed and necessary. But if you believe in these things, then you should have those principles reflected in everything you do in your life. Everything. It's a fact. Many elections are determined by just one vote. You can't afford to sit this one out. Like the famous advocate Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Take a stand. Use your power. Let your voice be heard. In August, in the primary election, and then again in November in the general election. Remember, you can be the change that you wish to see in this world. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
Thank you, Micaiah, for emphasizing that everyone should vote. Your voice, your vote is not only meant to be a thumbs up. Here it means much more. Your voice, your vote makes a difference to your neighbors, your community, and society. Next slide. Now we will go over some advocacy tips. When you advocate, be prepared. Know the facts of the issue. Having this information at your fingertips will help you in your conversation. Use the facts. It is often helpful to put your facts on a one-page sheet that you can distribute. Next slide, please. Have a clear and concise message. Your audience does not have time for long conversations and documents. And lastly, nurture relationships. Advocacy is a joint venture. Your chances of success are much greater when there are large numbers of organizations and people on your side. Next slide. This video highlights many advocates and their views on advocacy.
The ability to have choices in my life.
It's not just about information sharing, it's about being in the community.
I work really hard in the community because of my unique disability to get the word out that people like us should be in the community.
Speaking up for yourself, but also taking responsibility for your things.
Being able to know what you want and then being able to go for it and having somebody else that believes in it, that's able to help you.
I'm gonna fight for those that are like me, or it don't matter, I just don't like people taking advantage of.
They wanna get the word out that they want something out of life.
As much as everybody tries to help people with various kinds of disabilities, we're the ones who really know what we need.
For years, the voices of people with intellectual disability were never heard. Decisions were made for them.
If it doesn't come from us, it comes from people who don't have an intellectual disability and they don't actually have the experience to talk about it.
The professionals need to listen to us more because they don't know as well as we do what we want them to do.
Other people will decide what you will do. If you are not at the table, you don't know what those people are going to decide.
A part of being an advocate is to get out there and start networking.
And if you don't know how to do that, you should go and ask a self-advocate person that knows how to do it, and they'll help you.
There's tons of barriers out there, but attitudinal barriers are the biggest, I think.
The biggest thing is being included in the community with society and inclusion within college, school.
We came out here to learn from y'all anyway, and that's what we want people to understand. When we need help and all that from y'all, that's what we want.
I like helping people and to teach people.
I learned to speak up and not be ashamed of who I am.
Just like the civil rights movement before us, we try to do things to help people speak out for what they want and do what they believe in.
We just wanted to let everybody know just because you have a disability doesn't mean you're less than or you don't know or you're not committed to something.
We need a voice. We need people to listen.
It's really important that we speak up and tell people what is wrong in this world, and so that we can make it better and we can make a change.
Now Mark will cover some important dates coming up relative to voting this year.
Hi, I'm Mark Jones. I'm a customer service specialist here at OCHN, and I have a usually non-visible disability of a severe mental health mood disorder. And I believe it's of utmost importance for everyone to advocate for themselves by voting. I'm going to talk to you about some important voting dates. Knowing when elections are in your state is very important. The results of the primary elections determine who is on the ballot for the general election in November. As you know, there was a presidential primary election on March 10th this year the citizens of Michigan voted on who they would like to see on the ballot for president in November election. The actual candidates are determined at each party's convention. Most of the contests in the state primary on August 4th were for the U.S. House of Representatives seats and for offices in the state of Michigan, as well as for local elections like those in Oakland County. The general election on Tuesday, November 3rd, is when citizens throughout the country vote for who they want in office at all levels, federal, state, and local. Just another reminder, we will be voting for our choice of president in this November election. Now I will go over some important voting registration deadlines. There are some important deadlines for if you are planning on voting and you are not registered at the address where you reside, particularly if you plan on registering to vote in a way other than an in-person with your local city or township clerk. If you want to register by mail, online, or at the Secretary of State office or at the Oakland County Clerk, you will need to register by October 19th for the general election on November 3rd. However, with proof of residency, like with your state ID or your driver's license, you can always register in person at your local city or township clerk up till 8 p.m. the actual day of the election. These are the requirements to register to vote in Michigan. You need to be a Michigan resident at the time you register, a resident of the city or township for at least 30 days by time you vote. You must be a U.S. citizen and at least 18 years of age at the time you vote. Additionally, you must not be currently serving a sentence in jail or prison. If you meet all the requirements to register to vote, you can then register in a variety of ways. You are automatically registered to vote when you renew your driver's license or state ID at the Secretary of State office. You can also register online at the website resources listed at the end of our presentation. You can register at the Oakland County Clerk's office in Pontiac. You can always register to vote at your local city or township clerk's office. You can find out the contact information for your local city or township clerk on the websites listed at the end of our presentation. I will be reviewing absentee voting in the next slide. All eligible and registered voters in Michigan may request an absentee voter ballot. There's an application, which is a request for the absentee ballot, and then there's the actual absentee ballot itself. Requests to have an absentee voter ballot mailed to you must be received by your clerk no later than 5 p.m. the Friday before the election. The Friday before November 3rd is October 30th. You can register and apply for an absentee voter ballot at the same time. After receiving your absentee voter ballot, you have until 8 p.m. on the election day to complete the ballot and return it to your clerk's office. You may need to bring it to the clerk's office if the mail is not going to bring it there soon enough. Betty will now go over the voting process.
The voting process. When you vote, first you must mark your ballot. You can get assistance with this either from a person or by assistive technology. Second, you must place your completed ballot in the secrecy envelope. Absentee voters must use the absentee voter secrecy envelope, which was mailed to you with the ballot. Third, return the ballot to the designated person. Insert the ballot into the counting machine. Absentee voters must return their ballot to the clerk's office in person or by mail. And finally, congratulate yourself and be proud. You have just voted and made your voice heard. Voting assistance is available. There are people to help you vote if you request it. Every polling place has workers from both major parties who can assist you, or you can choose your own person. There are also ballot marking systems that enable you to vote independently. Often, you can do it yourself with assisted technology like the Hard Touch Writer or the ES&S Voter Assist Terminals. Next slide. Now we will learn a little more about voter assist terminals. Voter assist terminals are used for the privacy and accessibility of voters who have a disability. Oakland County polling places uses the Hard Touch Writer. Macomb County uses the Express Vote Machine, and Wayne County uses the Dominion voting system. Please tell the election worker if you need to use a voter assist terminal. You do not have to call ahead to make sure your polling place has them. Every polling place has a voter assist terminal. Voters' rights. The United States and state of Michigan Constitution guarantees every U.S. citizen age 18 or older the right to vote. Whether you vote at the polls or by absentee ballot, voting is a right. If you want the candidate of your choice to win the election, it is important that you vote and make your voice heard. Many people with disabilities do not vote. They want to vote, but many are afraid because of challenges they may face, such as resources and because special accommodations are required. To overcome these challenges, federal and state laws require polling places to be ADA compliant. For instance, to accommodate the disabled, the polling place may have extra wide doorways, ramps for steps, adequate lighting, the voting station may be expandable, and the voting station may enable a person to vote while they are sitting down. Also, as mentioned earlier, there are special machines at the polling place designed to be used by persons with a disability. This may be the AutoMark machine, the Hard Touch Writer, or the Dominion voting machine, depending on the county you vote in. These machines have privacy, have a large screen, headphones, and a ballot marker. Don't hesitate to let the election worker know if you need to use one of these machines. They are there to help you. If you are blind, or if you have a disability, or if you are unable to read or write, you can have a person of your choice to assist you at the polls. This person can be anyone except your employer, an employer agent, or an officer or agent of a union that you belong to. Also, I thought I might mention that this year, because of COVID-19, there will be hand sanitizers and wipes at the polling places for you to use for your safety. If you do require assistance at the polls, you may request help in advance by notifying the clerk's office. You can locate your clerk's office on one of the voting websites that we will discuss later in this training. Hearing impaired residents can direct questions they might have to the Department of State's Bureau of Elections. The email address for that department is elections@michigan.gov. Please don't hesitate to vote. Your voice, your vote matters. Now back to Mark, who will go over some voting resources and how to find them.
Here are some of the helpful online voting resources for you. First, there's the State of Michigan website. It's www.michigan.gov/vote. You can find your local clerk and polling location, as well as watch videos about the voting equipment that we mentioned previously in the presentation. You can learn how to register and much, much more. Also at the Oakland County Clerk, which is www.oakgov.com/clerkrod, one word, CLERKROD. You register to vote and find your polling location. The Oakland County Clerk is located at 1200 North Telegraph Road, Building 12 East, Pontiac, Michigan. Their phone number is 1-888-350-0900. Also, there is the League of Women Voters of Michigan. It's www.lwvmi.org. You can educate yourself about important voting issues and learn more about voting. These resources can help answer individualized questions like, am I actually registered to vote at my current address? Who is my city/township clerk? What is their phone number and where is their office? Where is my polling location? And help you learn how to register online and what you need to register to vote. It can help you learn how to request an absolute voter application. You can get to these online resources at the OCHN website in the voting process flyer, which I will go over on the next slide. Go to the Oakland County Community Mental Health website, which is www.oaklandchn.org, and then you go to the home page. You go to the Advocacy tab, which is to the right side of the page, and select 2020 elections. Then you can click on the link for important handouts, like the links for the page for OCHN voting webinars. Also, it has important dates to remember, reasons to vote, the voting process, which has the voting resources I talked about on the previous slide at the bottom of its page, rights of voters with disabilities, candidate interviews by the oaklandtimes.com or oaklandcounty115.com. Also, the League of Women Voters, Michigan chapter, and then the Respectability Voters Guide. To view previous webinars, go to the News and Events tab towards the middle of the page, excuse me, and select Voting Webinars. Then you click on the YouTube video link of your favorite OCHN voting virtual webinar. This is also the page where you find the URLs and the conference call information for the subsequent OCHN voting virtual webinars in August and September. To do it on the phone, it's more complex, and it's easiest just to get on a browser like Safari or Chrome and then Google the words OCHN voting webinars, and it should come up with a link for the YouTube videos. Next slide. Subsequent OCHN virtual voting webinars are on the third Wednesdays of the month from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Absentee and accessibility is this Wednesday, August 19th at 11 a.m. It will go over how absentee voting works in the state of Michigan, as well as cover accessibility issues like using voter assistant technology to vote at your polling location. Candidate positions and views is on Wednesday, September 16th, and we will look at how to find out more about the candidates, where they stand on issues that are important to you, and look at some of the important races in Oakland County. You can join the URL links for these webinars by going to the OCHN Virtual Voting Webinars page I just told you about under the News and Events tab, or you can call in using the conference call-in information on the same page. This now concludes the presentation portion of Your Vote Matters, Voting is Advocacy webinar. We will take questions and comments from participants. First, we will take questions or comments from the chat and message box and take verbal questions from participants who have raised their hands or unmuted themselves on their telephone. Those who have joined by the webinar by telephone, you can press *6 to unmute yourself, and then after your question or comment, please press *6 again.
We have Lloyd here. He has a question.
Go ahead, Lloyd. Thank you.
Yes. 2 points. We all appreciate what goes on with our individual providers, and of course, we also appreciate OCHN. And I just want you to know when you're doing advocacy work that you remember this all comes at a price, and that we funding is of the utmost important always. So please keep that in mind. And God bless caseworkers. I'm a staunch advocate for caseworkers. And the last but not least, I'd like to say you made a part of your presentation. You'd mentioned that if you had to be in your community, town, city, township for 30 days. But that doesn't exclude you from going back to your old address and polling place. It doesn't mean you're excluded from the vote. It means your voting polling place is different. You need to go back to your old residence and your old polling place. You still can vote, even if you've moved to a new residence. Thank you.
That's an excellent point, Lloyd, and I'm glad you brought that up. That, yeah, if you have moved, there is some options you have in order to vote. Voting absentee is another one that somebody could do.
So Mark, we've got some questions in the chat. You guys got a lot of kudos about the information that you provided and the job that you did. We have a question from Melkai Newman. She wants to know what precautions are being made at the polls to ensure safety of voters and workers against COVID-19.
Well, I don't know specifically for each polling location. Betty had mentioned in her presentation about them providing sanitization and wipes. They will be asking people to be wearing masks and social distancing.
Right.
So just the general precautions for COVID-19 when you go out, that like you'll be standing 6 feet apart while you wait in line. And
right, great. So. We have another question from Lois Schulman. How can we learn about the candidates?
Going for Oakland County, the oaklandcountytimes.com or oaklandcounty115.com, they have candidate interviews, video interviews, as well as going to the League of Women Voters, MI, Michigan chapter. They will help you find out about your voting candidates, as well as attending our webinar in September. We will be going over that and looking for other ways to find out, say, races that aren't real popular or on these other websites.
Yeah. Christine, I do see somebody has their hand up, but I don't know who it is. Do you know who that is?
Okay.
Hi, Vicki. This is Emily. I thought I'd cut in really quick because I can see the screen right now. Looks like Malkaya has her hand up.
Okay, Malkaya, you have some additional to share?
I can speak to Pontiac, and I think that is basically the same at all the polling places. I wanted to bring this up because I want people to feel not to let COVID be the reason why you don't vote if you want to cast your ballot in person. Personally, I work the polls and I've worked the polls for many years. This time they provided, they required masks for people coming into the polling places. All the workers had masks, gloves, shields, and there were shields in front of the tables where you had to come in to pick up your ballot to vote. So I just wanted everyone to know that COVID doesn't need to be a reason not to cast your vote. Personally, I support the absentee option, especially if you're concerned about safety. That way you know that you don't have to go into the polling place in order for your vote to count. But if you're concerned about the mail, because there's so much controversy around the post office and the mail right now, I would advise, if you can't take it physically to the polling place, have someone take it for you to make sure that it's counted. But I just wanted that question to come up so that anybody listening, if they had any questions about safety, it would be addressed. The county is making every effort to make sure that the workers are safe and the people coming in to vote are safe.
You can have immediate family members take it in for you. Otherwise, you would have to have somebody maybe drive you there to drop it off, because they don't allow you to.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. Different cities are doing different things. For those of you that live in Ferndale, I live in Ferndale. They actually have a ballot drop box right outside their city hall, so you didn't even have to go into their building. So I dropped mine and my husband's off. I didn't know that until I went on before August 4th to do that. But so in Ferndale, they do have a drop box, and you might want to check in your community whether or not you have a drop box like that. I did want to, someone does have their hand up, but let me just share a couple things first before we call on him. You know, sometimes the ballot can be quite lengthy, and it can be a little overwhelming. I know that at times when I've gotten a ballot, and probably this year too, there's going to be a lot on that ballot. And so it can be a little overwhelming, because I know at times I've looked at and went, oh my goodness, I have a lot of decisions to make. So a couple of things that I've done in the past is I've actually printed off a sample ballot, because you can go to like the Oakland County Clerk's or your local clerk's office, and you can print off a sample ballot. So when I went in person to vote, I already knew who I wanted to vote for. I had all my stuff set out, because there was just a lot on the ballot. The other thing is when my husband and I were doing our absentee ballots for the August 4th primary, you know, he's going through it, and he said, you know, I don't know anything about these judges. I don't know who to vote for. So a reminder is, you know, the way you choose to vote is the way you choose to vote. That's however you want to make those decisions. But you don't have to vote for everything that is on the ballot. If you don't feel comfortable in that particular item, you can skip over that. And that's what I share with my husband. I said, well, if you really aren't comfortable choosing somebody, you don't have to vote in that category. So I encourage you to be prepared, do some preparation, so that when you either go to the actual polling places, that you're prepared, you know what you want to do, or for your absentee ballots, get those early, take some time, look them over, study up on the candidates. This is a really important election. So don't get overwhelmed by the length of the ballot, and take some time to prepare. All right, I'm going to call on Jeffrey Hiller. He has a comment or a question. Jeffrey, are you there? Jeffrey, if you want to unmute and share your question or comment with us.
Yes, I'm Oakland County, Michigan, Piedmont, through the Piedmont program, and I'm with your provider agency of Mohawk.
Yep.
Is it possible to get slides to Mohawk and to me, so that I can share with everybody at Mohawk?
So Mark, he's asking if he can get a copy of these slides of the presentation.
That I can get these slides available to Mark. I can find out who the contact person would be in order to make them available.
They can also go on our website, and there is a recorded version of this presentation. And anybody can do that. I know some of our other providers, some including Mark, have been accessing our recorded voting presentations. So thanks, Jeffrey, for that question. Appreciate it. Did we come ahead? We have any other questions or comments? Judy Wood, her comment is that it took me 3 times to vote, and the clerk helped me do it. So thanks, Judy, for not giving up and getting that vote in, and that's awesome. Good job. You know, if we were together in person at you know, one of the conference rooms where we normally meet, I would be leading a voting chant. So here we go. Vote, 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 vote. Come on, go do the chant with me. Vote, 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 vote. I can't even express to you how important it is to vote, and the presentation was so exciting. I really appreciate you guys, Betty and Charlotte and Mark, taking the time and they've spent a lot of time preparing and doing this. So thank you guys so much for sharing parts of your story and for sharing the importance of voting. Any last comments, Mark?
Yeah, if you do have more comments or questions, you can call customer service at 1-800-341-2003. I'll repeat that for the people who are on their telephone. It's 1-800-341-2003. Ask for Mark, and I will, if I don't know the answer, I will research it and get back to you.
Thank you, Mark, so much. I see we have some people in the chat that joined me in my my vote, 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 vote chant. So thanks so much. All right, great presentation, good information. You guys got a lot of kudos in the chat, so you might want to take a little time to look at those from a number of individuals. Thanks so much. All right, so we're learning a lot today. We're not even to our awards yet. We're already having a great time, and we're giving away prizes. So we do have another raffle before we get to our next presenter. And so I believe this is our third raffle. Again, you win a $25 Visa gift card, and someone will contact you to either see if you want it in the mail or an email version of the gift card. So our winner for our third raffle is Josie Bongolin. Josie Bongolin is our raffle winner. Congratulations, Josie. Josie is a member of our strategic planning work group. So congratulations, Josie. All right. Our next presentation, I think we're ready for our next presentation. So this is where, there's a number of ways for us to advocate and make decisions in our lives. And so it's important to make sure that your voice is heard in planning for your future. Now, you guys have done that, by sharing your thoughts and ideas about our strategic plan and annual plans, and also about voting. But, for your life, for decisions about things that you want or don't want in your life, it's important that you have information and you are able to do that. So Mike Daly, many of you know, manager of our customer service team. He's been around a long time. He's a great guy. You probably saw him at some past conferences, and he's backed by popular demand. So folks are chanting, Mike, 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 Mike. So we brought him. Here he is. And Mike's going to explain to us and talk to us about an advance directive and the steps that you need to take to make sure that your wishes and decisions about things that happen in your life when you're not able to make those decisions, that you've already made those decisions and they can be carried out. So thanks, Mike, for joining us, and thanks for being able to provide this information. It's so important. And are you ready, Mike?
I am ready, and I think my microphone is unmuted, so I should be ready to go.
You're loud and clear.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for asking for me to come back. I don't know if I was asked by vote, but I am here. So today we're going to talk about advance directives, and sometimes they're called psychiatric advance directives, sometimes they're called medical advance directives. I would refer or use the word advance directive no matter what one that you're interested in. If you are interested in more information about medical advance directives, please contact customer service. You can contact me directly, and I will be able to get information to you. This seminar about advanced directives, as well as this conference today, is all about preparation. Thinking today about tomorrow, whether that's voting or advanced directives, and filing recipient rights complaints, etc. It's thinking today about tomorrow. So I found a couple quotes for preparation, and I do not know or heard of either one of these individuals, but I liked what they said. If you believe you can accomplish everything by cramming at the 11th hour, by all means, do it. Don't lift a finger now. But you may think twice about beginning to build your ark once it's already starting to rain. And then another quote is, there is always a part of my mind that is preparing for the worst, and another part of my mind that believes if I prepare enough for it, the worst won't happen. So I like those. Today, we're going to just talk about advanced directives. We're going to talk about what it means and who needs to have an advanced directive. Become aware of what incapable means under the law, and learn who can be a patient advocate on your behalf. What is an advance directive? It outlines a person's wishes in the event he or she is incapacitated or unable to express their own wishes for healthcare and treatment. It's almost like an insurance policy. You purchase insurance now for use in the future. It's a set of written directions or instructions for others to follow. And it's a chance to plan now before you are in a crisis or an emergency situation. So sometimes it's called a psychiatric advance directive, sometimes it's a behavioral health. It's about, I'm sorry, I was distracted for a minute. You can have advance directives for your medical and physical health care as well. As I mentioned, you can contact customer service, and that phone number is on there. And you can contact us and we'll make sure information is mailed to you. But bottom line is everything that we're talking about today is an opportunity for advanced planning. So the goals for your PAD should be to make sure that you are able to express your preferences on where and how you receive care and what treatments you are willing to undergo. Make your wishes and choices known to others before an illness or before going to the hospital or any hospital. You will have more information about treatment choices and decision in advance. When I work with people, including myself and my family members, with their advance directives, you spend more time looking at what the goals of treatment and what options there are for treatment, so you're much more informed when you're doing your advance directive. And you can have open conversations, discussions with people in your life, including the providers, the people, your circle of support, and the people that support you. Next slide. So who needs, why do you need a behavioral health advance directive, or why do you need an advance directive? Empower people to take control and responsibility for your own lives, meaning everyone wants to make informed decisions. Promote recovery. It prevents unwanted treatment or treatment that you know will not be helpful to you. And it can and might shorten your stay at a community hospital or a treatment center. Let's say if this is for mental health, substance use, physical, rehab, lots of things that if we are fully informed about our own treatment and what works best for us, it can reduce the time that you are away from your home and family members. Next slide. Who should have one? Everyone. Every one of us should have some type of document that outlines your wishes and preferences before you need them. Why? Is because you do not want a probate court or a complete stranger, a judge, to make a decision to say what we are capable of making decisions for ourselves. If you put something in writing ahead of time, you avoid the probate court judge making a decision. And we all may be at any moment have an accident or a health issue that finds ourselves unable to communicate or make decisions for ourselves. And we need to be prepared in case that happens. And the other important part is we can identify now, today, who you would like to be trusted to and legally empowered to make the healthcare decisions on your behalf. That's the important part, is planning today for something that might happen tomorrow. You have a say on who can make decisions on your behalf. So when does this written document become effective or active? And when a treating physician, a doctor, or a licensed psychologist makes a determination that you're not able to make your own mental health or healthcare decisions or treatment decisions on your own, and then the agent or your advocate is named in this advance directive, that person becomes active on your behalf. So what are some of the things that you want to consider when you're writing this advance directive document? You want to Do you want to have a time limit? Some people want to have time limit. So they say this is only active or can only apply in the next 6 months or the next year. If you do not put an expiration date in the document, it will not expire unless you, as the author of that document, state that it is to end, or if you put in a new one. So what are some of the choices you want to think ahead about is emergency treatment in hospital settings. What are your choices of hospitals or your preferences? What type of treatments do you want during an emergency situation? What medications work for you? Which ones do not work for you? Okay, some other decisions. What other mental health services are helpful to you? Are there specific people that are helpful to you? Who else do you want to know about your mental health treatment and decisions? And maybe some other concerns that think about today, what you would like to see happen at a later date. Do you want to have visitors? What happens to your home? Maybe you have a pet, or what happens while you're away? What happens to your mail? Any other considerations that you can think about today that you want taken care of in the future? Next slide. Okay. So the legal definition. This is important to recognize that the advance directive, the document itself, the ability to write an advance directive is housed in law. Michigan allows in law that the advance directive document has full legal privileges that you are writing today for something that will happen in the future. So part of the law, part of the law says that there has to be a definition of what incapable means. What happens when you are not able to make decisions for yourself? The definition is, it is the opinion of a physician or an eligible psychologist that the person currently lacks sufficient understanding or capacity to make or communicate mental health treatment decisions. Next slide. Okay, because it is law, there is always restrictions to law, further explanations, standards, if you will. An advance directive does not become active if it does not comply with general accepted community-wide practice standards. It's a mouthful, but what it means is the document cannot contain something that is against medical practice. Treatment requested are not feasible or not available. And if it conflicts with emergency treatment, or if it conflicts with any other applicable laws. Those are some reasons why it would not be effective. But this is the other important part. If one part of that statement in your advance directive cannot be complied, does not negate or cancel out the entire document. It only cancels out that one part that does not comply with the standards. So this statement says if one part of the advance directive cannot be carried out, it does not remove responsibility to carry out the other parts of the advance directive. And if anyone will not comply with something that you put in an advance directive, they have to document the reason and give notification to your patient advocate. Next slide, okay. Now, when we talked earlier about expiration dates, you have the right to put an expiration date in the document itself. It can also be revoked by you, it can be canceled by you, it can be removed by you at any time because you are the author or the writer of that advance directive document. And you can do that in any manner in which you can communicate to the providers. So let's say you are in an emergency room and you say, I do not want this section of my advance directive to be active if I become incapable. They have to make note of that and update your advance directive on the spot. You can cancel it in total at any time. And any changes must be documented in the medical record on why they're documenting what you're asking, requesting, and stating. It can be changed or replaced, so you can create a new advance directive at any time. The current advance directive takes precedent or comes first over any version in the past. And again, if you put a certain expiration date, you can do that, and some people do, put a certain or specific expiration date in the document. So who do you want to be your representative? Who do you want to be your patient advocate? Who do you want to be your healthcare advocate? It has to be someone who's over 18. It cannot be someone who provides any healthcare treatment or any services on your behalf or with you. So it cannot be a healthcare provider. And you can name more than one. So let's say you have first choice and that person, for whatever reason, is unable or unwilling to be that advocate for you. You can have in that document a second choice, a third choice, how many people that you want, because again, you are writing this document today to be used in the future. So the person that agrees to be your advocate today may not be available 6 months from now or a year from now. And would you want to have someone in line to take over being the patient advocate if you are unable to make decisions for yourself? These are all questions that are important to ask yourself now before it's needed. Next slide, please. Okay, when does this become active? When does that patient advocate speak on your behalf? Is when you as the author are determined not to be able to make decisions for yourself. And that patient advocate stays active, or the point person, the go-to person on your behalf, as long as you are deemed to be incapable of making decisions for yourself. So that patient advocate is active when a physician or eligible psychologist providing treatment at that time makes the determination that you're not going to be able to make decisions for yourself moving forward. If a treating physician or psychologist is not available, they will count on whoever the emergency situation is or the treatment team is, they will require or fall back and use the physician or psychiatrist or psychologist that is already providing treatment for you. So let's say you're receiving services at Easter Seals and you find yourself in an emergency situation. If there is not a physician or a psychologist able to make those decisions about activating the advance directive, they may contact Easter Seals to get Easter Seals psychiatrist or psychologist their opinion about your ability to make decisions and if the patient advocate would become active. Any determination by any professional must be in writing to go along with that advance directive. Next slide, please. What can the patient advocate do? What can the person do that you identify today for to become active on your behalf in the future. They can make the same decisions that you would as the person involved in your treatment. The advocate has the authority only to make the decisions that you outline in your advance directive. So in other words, the more information you put in that advance directive helps guide the treating professionals, but also guide your patient advocate. If you don't have a lot of specific information in that advance directive, then you are counting on that patient advocate to make the same decisions that you would if you were able to make those decisions for yourself. So that's why they make the decisions that you would make. They can, without your written permission, have conversations with treating professionals, doctors, staff, because the advance directive is already giving your written permission for this patient advocate to act on your behalf. So they can discuss and review treatment information and options. They can employ or discharge, so that means hire and fire, service providers. They can consent or refuse admission to specific treatment facilities, and they can refuse, consent or refuse specific medications on your behalf, or ECT, or the electroconvulsive therapy treatment. So they have all the rights that you have as a person receiving services. It's that you have named this person to make decisions that you would be making on your behalf. Next slide. Okay. So you want more information? We covered a lot of information. The real important part is you can gather information today for use in the future, whether it's to be used by you or your patient advocate. It's important that you have conversations with your case manager, support coordinator, family, friends, your circle of support. You can contact customer service. That phone number, for people who cannot see it, is 800-341-2003. And you can contact us 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And if those hours are not convenient for you, we can arrange other times and days so that we can follow up and talk with you about your questions and concerns. And we have information. If we were meeting in a conference room, I would have many, many handouts for you. Because we're virtual, that means you can contact me or customer service, and we will make sure that we will mail out written information. We can give you some website information, like the Michigan Bar Association does have information about advance directives because it is part of Michigan law. And I'm open for questions now.
We did have one comment in the chat, Mike, that
Yes.
said, Judy shared that her TTI group, members of her TTI group and her sister Barb are her advocates.
Perfect.
And then we have a question from Pam. Says, is it possible to have an advance directive if an individual does not have a family member or friend who will agree to be a patient advocate? So I'm wondering, can you have an advance directive without a patient advocate?
Yes, you can. You can have a document that outlines your wishes, preferences, thoughts, and they can be and should be with your healthcare providers. Yes, the only thing is you will not have a patient advocate that will stand and speak on your behalf. But the document, the more information you put in the document, the more the document will speak for itself.
Yeah, that's a good question that she brings up, because your patient advocate, you want somebody that you can trust,
right?
Value, and know that they are going to be a good advocate on your behalf. So that's a good question.
Yeah.
Another question for Pam. Do you use the same document?
Yes. You can use the same document. It does not have to be on a specific form, but you just label that document with whatever you create, advanced directive. It's almost like a will that you write out today what you want to happen in the future. So the more information that you contain in that document, the better.
Right. Good information, Mike. Any other questions, comments? You can raise your hand or you can put something in the chat. Let's see what this one says. If you go to the hospital on an emergency basis, how would they get the document to follow?
That's a great question. The part of the instructions with advanced directive is that you get that document, copies of that document, which are also legal. So copies, they don't have to be notarized. They just have to be witnessed. And copies are still, valid. Copies are valid. So you get that to all your, the people that you trust, or I'm not sure about other systems, but I know for sure Beaumont, because I'm in the Beaumont system. I have my advanced directive filed with Beaumont Hospital.
Wow. Awesome.
So if you go to, even if you go to the emergency room now, at least at Beaumont, they ask you, do you have an advanced directive? And then you say yes or no, and then they say, do we have it on file here? And in my case, I say yes. So if you can give your advanced directive in advance to any of the hospitals in your area. They have to keep it confidential. It has to be scanned in so that if at any time you become a patient in that hospital, they'll have that information on hand.
Great. I see Jeffrey Hilliard has his hand up. Jeffrey, do you have a comment or a question?
Just a question.
Okay.
Is it possible for these slides and have this presentation be involved with the Michigan Developmental Disabilities Council?
Yes, we can get the slides to anyone who wants them. Absolutely. And I know that the disability, are you talking about the developmental, the Developmental Disability Council at the state in Lansing? Yep. They also have information about this as well, advanced directives. But yes, we can get copies to you. Just let me know where we need to go and we'll make sure it happens.
It will go through Adam Furman, FUHRMAN, and Tracy Vincent.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeffrey. So
yeah, thank you.
Pam has another question. Who would you give it to at a hospital or have it on file?
Yep. What I recommend people do is once you have it completed, you call the hospitals and you tell them that you have an advanced directive that you would like to have on file, because I have not surveyed all the hospitals in the area. Mm-hmm. So each hospital may have a different process. I would encourage you to contact the hospital, even your own doctor's offices, and ask what the process they would like to what would they like you to follow? What process would they have in place to accept your document?
Great, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I know someone that's been on a variety of medications over the 40 years that she's had a mental health issue, and so she has documented all of those medications that work and don't work. And in particularly, there's a medication that gives her severe hives. So if she goes into the hospital, she lets them know, look, I've tried all these meds. They don't work, so don't give me those. Let's do something different. And don't give me this one because it's really going to cause me a big problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the nice part about advanced directives is you can have everything in one document. You can have different documents for different healthcare needs, however you want to do it.
Right.
There's a lot of options.
Christine said that we'll post the slides on our website and we'll email them to our conference participants.
Oh, thank you, Christine. Perfect.
Lloyd Austin.
Yeah, Lloyd.
Just real quick, is there any kind of formal document, like with the questions spelled out that you fill out, or does this have to be handwritten in your own words? I mean, is there a boilerplate form that you can fill out?
Yes, there is. The Michigan Bar Association went ahead and created a form, and it's a long form because it has all options in it that they could think of on medical and behavioral health. But as noted before, is you can pick and choose what elements you want in your advance directive. So yes, contact me and I can mail it to you. I can get you to the websites. But the important part is there are forms, fill in the blank forms that people can use.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mike. That was a great presentation. Thanks for the questions and the comments from individuals. That was superb. So, you know, we're more than halfway through the conference, and I just want to remind you of ways that you can advocate, ways you have advocated or have your voice heard. So we heard about participating in our survey or groups that Dr. Lawson did to have your input and concerns and values as a part of our strategic plan and annual plan. So thank you for all the many people who did that. We had the voting presentation to, you know, talk about how important it is to have our voice heard in that voting process. And then Mike Daly provided us with advanced directives. So when you're not capable of making decisions, you've already made decisions for yourself that have to be honored. So 3 ways so far. We've got one more presentation that we're going to do that will, again, give you your voice and a way to advocate for yourself. So joining us next and our last speaker before we get to the awards is Jean Fettner. Jean is the manager of the Office of Recipient Rights. Jean has a great background. She's come to us a few years ago. She has a really good understanding of the public mental health system, services, rights from a variety of different aspects. I have to get some water. That's how you know it's live. It's not taped. So I'm really excited that Jean's going to present. I've worked closely with her and other members of the team to make sure that people understand what their rights are about complaints and investigations, and making sure that we serve people in the best way that we can. So I apparently have something in my throat, so I'm just going to turn this over to Jean. And if you could start your presentation, Jean, that would be so great.
Thank you so much, Vicki. I am so delighted to be here, and I'm already seeing some feedback. So I'm hoping that this doesn't plague us throughout my presentation. As Vicki stated, I've been with OCHN for a number of years as the manager, but I've been in behavioral health services within Oakland County for 25 years and have done a lot of different roles within those 25 years. But recipient rights has always been one of the primary roles that I've had throughout my career. And I consider rights to be a very primary advocacy tool. We are here to help individuals ensure that things are going the way they need to go and that their rights are not being violated within behavioral health services. So my presentation today, I want to focus on 3 things. One of them is providing you with a little bit of information about the Office of Recipient Rights in general. Then I want to tell you about how you file a complaint and what happens after you file a complaint, or if someone files a complaint on your behalf. And then at the end, we'll have questions just like we always do. So if I could get the next slide up, I'd appreciate it. So basically, the roles of the Office of Recipient Rights, while we're known for one thing primarily, we've actually got several primary roles. One of our roles is to educate. We provide training to staff, students, volunteers, and contractors of people receiving behavioral health services within Oakland County. Now that role at OCHN is done by our wonderful training department. We also have individuals with lived experience who provide education to individuals within residential and other service sites to help people understand their rights directly from somebody with lived experience. All right. The other things that we do is monitor. This means that we, all right, meaning the Recipient Rights Office, needs to make sure that every service site, this is not private homes, but every service site is visited at least once a year. And we have our wonderful quality department that does that fulfills that obligation. However, I see one of the major roles for the Recipient Rights Office as being that of an advocate. We're here to help you with your voice, all right? And we're here to advocate on behalf of other people, all right? And so one of the things that we do is the, Your Voice, Your Value conference. We work closely with customer service. They keep us informed of what's going on. They know the difference between a customer service issue and a recipient rights issue. We really try to help other people hone their advocacy skills. And one of the big things that we've heard this workshop or this conference is voting is a major advocacy, self-advocacy skill. And so we really do want people out there voting. However, when we look at these 4 functions, investigation is what we're primarily known for. When an individual's rights have been suspected to be violated or actually violated, we conduct investigations. And that is probably the bulk of what our office does. So if I could get the next slide, please. All right. So a little bit about the ORR and some things that affect us. We are established by law in the Mental Health Code. All right. So our office is mandated. All right. And so having our office be there to uphold the Mental Health Code and related rules and laws. That also means that we have some limitations, which I'll talk about in a minute, right? So our first and primary thing is to uphold Mental Health Code and related rules and laws. So for example, the Mental Health Code says that people have civil rights, all right? Now we all know from high school, probably, that we have civil rights, right? So we can look at things like civil rights, but we can also look at other things that are in the Mental Health Code, things like dignity and respect and confidentiality and services suited to condition. That means, are you getting the services the way your individual plan of service says that you should be getting them? So there's a lot of different rights within the Mental Health Code and the administrative rules and other laws that we can look into if you feel like your rights have been violated in any of those categories. We are overseen by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Service Office of Recipient Rights. So this is the state Office of Recipient Rights. They're the ones that help our rights office with dictating what the code says and help us to get interpreting that, all right? And within OCHN, the yellow box here, we report directly to the OCHN CEO, i.e. Vicki does, all right? And this is to allow us to have a direct line of communication with our CEO so that we don't have any conflict with other department heads or anything else that you might be complaining about, all right? So we report directly to the OCHN CEO. And how this takes place is we've got a full team. I have 10 recipient rights specialists at OCHN, and all of them have been trained by MDHHS ORR. Usually it's a couple-day trainings held throughout the state, but because of COVID, we now have training that is virtual, but all of them not only have to pass 2 levels of training, but also pass tests and skill assessments in order to become a certified rights specialist. So we've got 10 of them on staff at OCHN, along with some wonderful support staff who help us process paperwork and review get incident reports processed, and just a variety of other things. All right. So I'm going to take a sip now. All right. So, however, if we look at the green box, there are some limits to what rights covers and what ORR has jurisdiction of. Like I said before, we have jurisdiction over the mental health code, related rules, and applicable laws. All right. That doesn't mean that we have jurisdiction over everything. And there's also a limit to the types of things we can look at. All right. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later. All right. We are here to help you. All right. So even if we don't have jurisdiction, like I said before, we work with customer service. We will help you solve a problem. There are no wrong doors. Okay. We're here to help. So no wrong doors. So if I could get the next slide up. Okay. So who has rights? You do. All right. Going back to some of the basic high school classes that many of us have had, all right, U.S. government, U.S. history, we all know that we have basic rights. Every person has rights, all right? But the thing is that in addition to those rights, people who receive behavioral health services have additional rights, all right? And those are outlined within the mental health code. So we will help with basic rights, basic civil rights. Think about the Bill of Rights, all right? And things that come from our Constitution, all right? We have all those rights, but then we also have some special rights. Like I said before, mental health services suited to your condition. What's in your individual plan of service needs to be provided. However, not every issue is a rights violation. So for example, I'm just going to give a very simple example. So for example, if you're having trouble with your next door neighbor because the next door neighbor is throwing their trash into your driveway, that's not part of the mental health code. All right. However, we and customer service may be able to assist you in getting linked up with your city hall and looking at city ordinances and connecting you to that. So not everything is a rights violation, but we will help you figure this out. Let the ORR determine this with you. All right. And if you're not sure, don't worry about it. All right. It's, there is no harm in actually filing or talking to us. All right. We'll help sort it out. If we determine that we don't have any jurisdiction, then we will communicate that with you and help you figure out who might be able to help you. All right. And once again, even though the last bullet says all you need to do is file a complaint, you don't have to file a complaint. All right. But you can call just to inquire about something. Along with customer service, we tag team on this. All right. So if we could have the next slide, please. All right. So how do you file a complaint? All right. Basically, there is no wrong door. All right. You can do it any way that you want to do it. Now, we do have a complaint form. That complaint form is on the OCHN website and is embedded in the center of the Your Rights booklets that everybody should be getting at least once a year. All right. So that Your Rights booklet is under the Rights tab within the OCHN website. So you can use a complaint form, and it's going to ask you what happened. and what do you want to see happen as a result of the ORR getting involved. All right. So you can file that, you can take that form, you can fill it out, you can have staff are obligated, okay, staff and behavioral health services who are under contract with OCHN are obligated to help people fill these forms out. And then they can be dropped off, they can be mailed, they can be emailed, they can be faxed, all right? They can be sent to the ORR office any way that you can get it there. However, you don't have to use that form, all right? You can write it on a piece of paper and get it to us, all right? Now, I'm not advocating for this, but I've actually gotten the complaint historically in my job history written on a paper towel, okay? And so you can write it on something and just get it to us any way you can. We received a complaint about 2 months ago with the person saying, I didn't know how to get this to you, so here's a picture. So they had written out a complaint, taken a picture of it, and then attached the picture as an email to the rights office. That's, very good way, very outside of the box thinking, and, we got it and it was perfectly acceptable. Now, it does not require to file a complaint. You don't have to do this, all right, in writing. You can call our ORR office, all right? So the number is right here on the screen. It's 877-744-4878, all right? But you can call the ORR office. Now, our support staff, who are wonderful ladies, they answer the phone, but they don't take your complaint per se. What they do is they link you up to the person who will take your complaint. So you can tell them all about it if you choose. However, you need to know that they're going to link you up to a rights specialist who is then going to ask you to repeat, all right, and give you much more and ask you for much more details. So you can always call, and if the support staff tells you, I'm going to have Rashawn, I'm going to have Darlita, I'm going to have Katie give you a call back, be assured that those rights specialists will call you back. All right. Now, if you can't do it yourself, you can actually have somebody help you call or call for you on your behalf. We've had that happen many times where, hi, my name, and I'm just going to make something up, is Sue Smith, and I'm sitting here with my best friend, Cleo, and Cleo wants to file a complaint. All right. And so, yeah, we'll definitely do that too. The other thing that you can do is our rights specialists are out and about all the time, except during a pandemic, of course. All right. So very often the rights specialists are out visiting clubhouses, group homes, vocational sites. All right. They're out visiting those places. And after a while, you might get to know who they are. All right. And you can always talk to one of them. Now, if you happen to run across one person and you walk up to them and say, I want to file a complaint, and that person is not the right person for what you have going on, they will connect you and they will do that, what we call a warm handoff. They will introduce you to the new person. They will tell you who's going to be in charge of your complaint, etc. All right. So there's no wrong door on how to file a complaint with the Office of Recipient Rights. All right. I get phone calls. My rights specialists get cold calls. A lot of our organizational providers, they know who to call. You can ask them. You can walk right up to them and say, hey, I want to talk to the ORR. You don't even have to say I'm going to file a complaint. I want to talk to the ORR. Can you help me? And they'll probably give you the number of the rights specialist that works with them. Okay. So if I could have the next slide then. All right. So what happens? I want to spend a little bit of time on this. What happens when you file a complaint? All right. First of all, nothing bad happens. All right. There should be no retaliation of any kind. All right. You don't have to let other people know that you're filing a rights complaint. Also, rights complaints can be opened up just because you didn't file a complaint. Maybe somebody else saw something and they're opening up a rights complaint on your behalf. They're filing a rights complaint on your behalf. I'm sorry. Or something happened to you. All right. And it was reported in an incident report. All right. And one of our specialists reviewed the incident report and said, I need to do a little bit more thinking and background checking on what happened here. And so you might get a phone call. All right. The person who wrote the incident report might get a phone call to say, can you explain this a little bit further? How did this person end up, I'm going to pick something, falling out of their wheelchair? All right. So there's different ways that rights complaints can be opened. All right. You filing a complaint or anybody filing a complaint on your behalf, or incident reports being looked at. We get well over 20,000 incident reports, and the rights specialists review every single one of them. So we open a lot of complaints based on incident reports. All right. But what will happen is that you are first and foremost in this. You have a voice in the rights investigation. A rights investigation is truly trying to be a really good advocate on your behalf. Not on the behalf of providers, not on the behalf of somebody else, on your behalf. And so during a rights investigation, individuals who receive services always have a voice. Now, if they are unable to communicate with us verbally, then sometimes we use interpreters, but also sometimes we have to have a family member help us communicate with that individual. Sometimes individuals are not available for us to interview. However, we do try very, very hard to make sure that somebody that can represent that person, all right, is interviewed. So once a complaint is filed, the rights specialist who has that territory is the one who opens it. So what does that mean? Oakland County has a very unique way of assigning rights complaints. In many other counties, it's basically up. The next complaint came in, who's up? So anybody will pick up that complaint from the rights specialist standpoint and investigate it. We do something different here. We have Oakland County broken up into territories, and each of the rights specialists is assigned a territory. And territories are first and foremost driven by where you live. All right. However, if something happened at a vocational site, that site may be in a different territory. And we do this for a couple different reasons. All right. And they're all designed to be beneficial. All right. It allows a specialist to get to know the people that receive services within their territory. It allows the providers that operate within that territory to work with one central person, all right, to get their questions answered. So once you find out who your rights specialist is, and you will find that out very quickly, because during the investigative process, the first thing that's going to go out is a letter to you that lets you know that a rights complaint has been opened. All right. So you will have the same rights specialist unless there is something like it happened at a service site. So I'm going to give you an example. All right. So New Horizons, as a vocational program, has several sites in different territories. So let's say, for example, you live in Southfield, but something happened at New Horizons Novi. So that specialist from New Horizons over New Horizons Novi is going to be the one that investigates, not the one who is over Southfield where you live. All right. So we work based on territories, and I happen to believe that this is a very effective mechanism for advocating on behalf of people that we serve. All right. After that, what happens is that the rights specialist will begin an interview process and look at documentation. All right. And you will always have the opportunity, all right, to be interviewed more than once if you choose. If you think of something else that you want to add, you can always call the rights specialist back. All right. So the rights specialist is, their job is very clearly outlined, all right, by DHHS ORR. We follow the same procedures for every single investigation that we do. All right. We don't do special things here and special things there. What the rights specialists do is very clearly outlined. All right. And the process by which they do that is very clearly outlined so that we are being non-biased, all right, so that we are really making sure that everybody has their voices within this investigation, all right? And then what the rights specialist does is they come up with a report. And you've been hearing Vicki, who is the Director of Rights and Advocacy, throughout the conference here. She and I read every single report, and Vicki reads a significant portion of them, all right? And we do not allow reports out of this office, out of the ORR, unless it is very clear, all right, that the process was followed and that the correct conclusions were reached based on what we call preponderance of evidence. Now, sometimes people get upset with us. They do, because they'll make a complaint and then the rights specialist will say, I could not substantiate it. There was not a preponderance of evidence. We don't just take one person's word for it. The preponderance of evidence shows that the majority of the evidence, okay, and that's not just about volume of evidence. It's about the quality of the evidence, all right? And that's written right in our reports, shows that something did happen. So if someone says that a staff person swore at them and the staff person said, I didn't swear, and there's no other witnesses and no other history of that staff person swearing at people, we cannot establish a preponderance of evidence. The preponderance is the majority of the evidence. So I want you to know that, just because something was not substantiated is not saying that somebody is lying. What we're simply saying is that during the course of the investigation, all right, we were not able to establish that the majority of the evidence points towards that. It's a little bit like in criminal law, we go beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, beyond a reasonable doubt is a different level than preponderance of evidence, but we have to do that. And so the investigation then is submitted and you will get a report called a summary report that lets you know what happened during the investigation and what the outcome was, all right? Now, people who have very specific types of issues with the outcome, I'm not going to talk about that here, you have appeals right, all right? But you will find out what happens within the investigation by the report that you get. And certainly you can reach out to the rights specialist also, all right? So that is, in a nutshell, how do we file a complaint and what happens afterwards, all right? So with that, I'm going to ask if there are any questions.
Thanks, Jean. Yeah, we just have a minute or two for some questions or comments. Christine, do we have? I see Jeffrey Hilliard has his hand up, but I don't know if that was from before. Anybody else?
I don't see anything in the chat, Vicki. I just see Jeffrey's hand up.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Jean. That it is so important that people know their rights and understand their rights and stick up for their rights. So we want to that's another great component of having your voice heard and being able to advocate for yourself. So thank you to all of our presenters today. Yay, virtual clap, everybody. Yay, good job. All right, so we want to be sure we get done on time, so I'm going to keep things rolling. So we're up to doing our awards. We have two type of awards that we're going to give out today. We have the Achievement Awards, and then we have Peer Awards. We've done Achievement Awards for a long time. I'm not even sure how long that we've done that, but it's been a long time. Christine, do I need to do the raffle now, or is that coming later?
You know what, Vicki, you can do the raffle now.
Okay, so we have one more raffle left because I know everybody's been waiting. Did I win $25? And so our last winner for our raffle today is Renee Ostrom. Renee Ostrom is our winner of our last raffle. Congratulations, Renee. Awesome. All right, so I know everybody's excited about the awards. We always have a great time. We get to celebrate wonderful people. We do have some of our award winners who have recorded a message, not all of them, but we're just celebrating everybody that has won an award. So we're going to start out with our Achievement Awards. And this gives us an opportunity to appreciate individuals whom we serve and exemplify our mission to inspire hope, empower people, and strengthen communities. We only exist here because we're here to serve folks that need our services and to serve our community. So our first presentation will be the Stigma Award. And just as a reminder, the Stigma Award is presented to an individual who uses creative and innovative ways to educate others about and reduce stigma regarding disabilities, mental illness, or substance use. We're really delighted that we have two individuals who are going to receive this award today. And our first individual is Tony Prevost.
Oh.
Tony is a dedicated peer who has a special place in her heart to serve people who have been incarcerated and looking for a fresh start in life. She's selfless and very caring. It's a pleasure working with her and considering her a friend as well as an ally in the fight for equality and human rights. So congratulations, Tony Prevost. So just as a reminder, our award winners are nominated by individuals that are served or people that they work with, or really just anybody who wants to.
Do I have to say something?
No. Sure, is that you, Tony? Who is that?
I don't think that was Tony. Didn't sound like her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Tony. Did you have a quick?
Sorry.
Did you want to say a quick word, Tony?
I'm very honored to receive this award. I was very blown away that Micaiah presented me with this and nominated me.
Awesome.
So I'm very excited. Thank you guys. It really meant a lot to me.
Well, and thank you for all the work that you do, and thank you for helping people and help us fight stigma. It's a big effort. We need everybody's effort to combat it. So thank you for your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, our second Stigma Award winner is Jennifer Sawicki. Jennifer is an ambitious. You're here, Jennifer. All right.
Nice.
Let me read about you first, okay?
Oh, okay.
Jennifer is an ambitious and motivated lady that is living her life to the fullest, and there is no slowing her down in the pursuit of her dreams and happiness. Since Jennifer was a little girl, she dreamed of being an actress. To support Jennifer, her family moved to Los Angeles, and she landed a few parts in commercials, Comedy Central and ABC Speechless. Now back in Michigan, she continues to work hard toward her acting career, participating in the Fourth Wall Theater Company. Jennifer works at the City of Novi Community Center, and she's an active participant in a grant project that CLS of Oakland County has with the Michigan's Development Disabilities Council, the Campaign for Self-Determined Transitions. Jennifer also advocates for individuals with disabilities as a best buddy advocate. Thanks, Jennifer. That's great. Jennifer is a real shooting star and an inspiration to everyone to never stop chasing your dreams. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you want to say a word?
Sure, why not? I just want to say thank you, and I'm really happy.
Good. Well, we're so glad we can honor you.
Oh, thank you. And oh yeah, stay away from clowns, and don't eat the lunch cafeteria food. Blech.
There you go.
Just take what your mom and dad give you.
All right.
Lunch.
Thank you.
Right.
Awesome, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the Stigma Buster Award.
Hey, no problem.
Last week, about a week or so ago, we had staff members go out to each of our award winners to either their house or in a public building outside of houses. We did not go in anyone's house. And we presented them with their award and their gift card. And then we took pictures. So you see we had lawn signs that folks could put out to celebrate their awards. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you to our 2 Stigma Buster Award winners. Our next award is Helping Hands, and the individual for this gives back their community through volunteer work, helping others, and giving of themselves to make their community a better place. This year, we also have 2 winners for Helping Hands. Got a lot of great people. So our first of the winners is Bill Munson. Bill is a very active volunteer with many organizations, including the Red Cross, the Farmington Community Library, the Library for the Blind and Physically Handicapped. He works as an angel with the Detroit Police Department and the Handicap Parking Enforcement Volunteer at the Farmington Hills Police Department. Bill is an active member of Our House Clubhouse and has assisted in over 35 telethons for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you, Bill Munson, and congratulations. Bill, are you with us? He's probably busy. He's got a lot on his plate. He does a lot of things. So congratulations, Bill Munson.
It looks like his hand is raised.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Bill, unmute. Got something you'd like to say? Bill, are you there? All right. Well, we'll go to our next person. If he's able to unmute, we'll come back to him. So our second Helping Hand Award winner is Hector Melendez. Hector is a person who works hard in order to make his community a better place to live. He has endured many hardships and losses, but doesn't let those losses get in the way of him helping others. For example, he travels back and forth to Puerto Rico in order to help rebuild communities there. He not only thinks of himself, he does volunteer work for the betterment of all people right here in his community, and he doesn't look for rewards or nominations to drive him to do these great works. He's an active member of the Positive Action Group at Easter Seals, where he takes the lead in finding resources that will help the Latino population. Congratulations, Hector. Awesome. Hector, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Hector. Go ahead.
I would like to say thank you. I appreciate this award. I would like to take this opportunity to express my thanks to Easter Seal that have helped me a lot. Also, I would like to say thanks to the members of the Oakland Community Heart because the services are outstanding over there. And I'm really happy for.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So again, congratulations to Bill and Hector for our Helping Hands Award. So yay, virtual clapping, yay. Awesome. All right, our next award is the My Life Award. So the My Life Award is an individual that embraces and moves forward through the person-centered planning process or family-centered planning process. He or she creates goals and pursues dreams that utilize natural and community resources to pursue the life that they choose to live. So important for people to make decisions about their life and get the life that they want. So the My Life Award goes to Lloyd Austin. I do know Lloyd and have known him for just about a couple years. So he's an exemplary member of the Advisory Council in Southfield. He's knowledgeable about resources and happily shares them with his group. He is open about his recovery and shares his story often to empower others. He's an ally and an advocate to all people. His positive attitude is contagious. We heard from him a couple times during our other presentations, and he's always ready with a helping hand. He's active in the community with Oakland Community Health Network. He's on a couple of our different work groups, and at Dreams Unlimited Clubhouse. He's an excellent public speaker and has spoken at numerous events in the community as well as for Easter Seals employees. He's an inspiration to all that meet him. He passionately shares that Easter Seals gave him the tools and resources that has truly helped to save his life. Lloyd has recorded a message, and he wants to share that with us today. So if we could play his message. Oh.
I'm honored to receive this beautiful award and be recognized for the work I do, but I accept this on the behalf of all my brothers and sisters that are out there working just as hard, I'm sure, as I am. None of this would get done. Nothing would happen without the hard work of us as a whole. So I want to thank you all for recognizing me, and I want you to know I recognize all of you. Thank you so much, and I hope you stay safe and stay well. God bless.
Thank you so much, Lloyd, for sharing that message with us. You do so much to help other folks, and I have heard Lloyd's story. He shares that. It's just awesome. I just want to step back for a minute and just see if Phil Munson was able to get unmuted, if he wanted to share something. I don't want to miss that opportunity for him. Phil, was you able to get yourself unmuted? Okay. All right. All right. So our second My Life Award winner is Barbara Brumfield. Barbara empowered herself to begin treatment and change her life. She has worked hard to make important changes and support others to move forward in her recovery. She's a proud mother of a son who's living with a disability, working hard to support him and help him grow as a person. Congratulations, Barbara Brumfield, on winning the My Life Award. Yay, to our two My Life Award winners. Oh, I'm sorry, she has a pre-recorded message?
No, Barbara did not have one.
Okay, thank you. Barbara, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. How are you doing today?
I'm super great. Something you want to share with us?
Oh, I just want to say thank you to everybody for my Life Award. Thank you for my family, my counselors, Amy, Maria, and Emily. I really enjoy being there. I got to go in a few minutes and be in my women empowerment group. I just thank everybody. It's so exciting to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a great smile. I hope everybody can see you. It's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And congratulations to our two My Life Award winners. Yay. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. Take care. All right. Now we're doing the Dan Moran Rights and Advocacy Award. And Dan was an individual that worked for our organization, but he was an advocate for many, many years and did lots of presentations around the state. He actively promoted the rights of individuals and encouraged self-advocacy. He raised awareness about developmental disabilities, mental illness, and substance use. He tried to break down boundaries and serve as a role model to others. So Dan was just a passionate advocate, and unfortunately, he passed away some years back, and so we did name the Rights and Advocacy Award after him. So today, the Dan Moran Award winner goes to Ryan Bray. I have also known Ryan for a long time. He has a lot of energy, enthusiasm, and a love of life that you just don't see every day. He is a unique, outstanding young man who leaves a positive impression with everyone he meets. Ryan will be happy to talk with you too, and he also he shares about what it is to vote. So I appreciate Ryan's advocacy in that area too. He's volunteered at Oakland Community Health Network on numerous work groups. He's always particularly interested in groups and projects focused on the empowerment of people served and encouraging people with disabilities to vote. Ryan has been involved in a few voting rights videos in the past years. And him and I, some years back, went out and did some voting presentations in person. Ryan is very passionate about people's rights to vote, and he's volunteered his time and enthusiasm to make sure people have that knowledge about it. Ryan is passionate about advocating to protect the rights of people with disabilities. He shows up, he speaks up, and he makes a difference in the lives of others. For these reasons and many more, we're proud to present Ryan Gray with the 2020 Dan Moran Award. And Ryan has pre-recorded a message, and we will hear that now.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm humbly honored to receive this humble award. Thank you. Annette Downey, everybody on Health Network. You guys are great people. I'm sorry we can be together in this COVID-19 pandemic right now. But one day we'll be back together again very soon. Yeah. And thank you all very much. Important skill to learn. Everything is important. To all you to enjoy yourselves. Be happy. Don't be sad. Be happy. This is a joyous occasion. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. That was great. We appreciate you. We appreciate your enthusiasm and your commitment to helping others and to being an advocate. And congratulations on the Dan Moran Award.
I appreciate it. I really thank you very much.
Joining us today too. Appreciate it.
We're on mute.
Right. And then we have the Director's Award. Our next award is the Director's Award. And that is for an individual that inspires others to strive to be their best, advocate for others, and make their community a better place. Somebody's got their mic on. If you can mute that, I'd appreciate it.
I muted it, Vic.
Thank you. So the Director's Award, this individual has overcome the challenges of living with a development disability or a mental illness or substance use, and has chosen to use their experience to contribute to others in the community. He or she embodies the characteristics of all the recognition awards. And this year's Director's Award is Nancy Diane Carter. I've known Diane for a number of years as well. Nancy is described by her nominator as someone who has overcome her life challenges with faith, strength, and courage. She chooses to be a role model as she shares her lived experience to inspire and help others realize their dreams. Nancy encourages self-advocacy and advocacy for others by speaking out and educating all people. She gives back to her family and her community in her volunteer work. She's also on a couple different of the work groups here at OCHN and lends her voice about what she feels is important. With her smile, active listening skills, compassion, kindness, and a faithful heart, she lights a path for others to walk. So congratulations, Nancy Carter, on the Director's Award. Yay! Virtual clap, virtual clap. Do we have a recording for Nancy? Or Nancy, are you with us?
We did not have a recording from Nancy. She was on earlier.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations, Nancy. Yay. So those are the winners of our Achievement Awards. That's the first set of awards. Our second set of awards is peer awards. And peer awards are an opportunity to recognize our peers for the work that they do. Peers are individuals who have lived experience, the same lived experience that those individuals that they support and serve in services through the public mental health system. So peers are so important in recovery, both in mental illness and substance use, as well as peer mentors, mentoring individuals with disabilities and helping people just achieve those life goals. So peers are so important, and we do have peers we're going to recognize today. Our first peer award is also a stigma award, and that is given to a peer that encourages individuals to think outside their illness or disability and helps that person advocate for themselves in the community. They educate the persons and help them appreciate their abilities, skills, and what they have to offer. So I am pleased to announce that the Peer Stigma Award goes to Laura Protic. Laura is a peer recovery coach who advocates for individuals within the jail system. She has an integral part of the Oakland County Jail MAT program. She often shares her experiences to help reduce the stigma of substance use disorders. Her devotion and support for the people she works with helps them find the strength to advocate for themselves within the jail and court setting. Laura is proactive in linking individuals with appropriate treatment and community resources. She connects people to peer groups, 12-step groups, community resources to increase their pro-social activities. She continuously advocates for individuals to ensure that they have the ability to have access to these important programs. Congratulations, Laura Protek. Yay! Woo! She is our Peer Stigma Award winner. Laura, are you with us? All right. I did have the opportunity to call all of us. Hi, Laura. Are you with us?
I am. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for the award and the acknowledgement of peers, and very honored and blessed for sure. Thank you so much. And thank you to Sacred Heart for nominating me for this Stigma Award. Very appreciated. Thank you so much for OCHN as well for putting this out for the peers, to recognize them in the community, that we are helpful in making a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura, for all you do. It's awesome. I had the distinct privilege of calling all of our peer award winners to let them know they won. And that was just such a highlight of my week, that particular week. And it was so great talking to each of them. And they shared a little bit of their story with me and what they do. And peers are amazing. They're just amazing. So thank you so much, Laura, and congratulations on the Stigma Award. All right, our next award is the Peer Hope Giver Award, and that peer provides hope, encourages the person in a positive way, and giving them a positive perspective of themselves, provides belief and support to individuals to help them accomplish their personal or professional goals, and offers the individual hope when they have no hope. We know how important hope is in all of our lives, and particularly for folks that have a mental illness or substance use or disability. Hope is so important. So we're really excited to honor two individuals for our Hope Giver Award. And our first recipient is Latia Chappelle. Latia is a tremendous support to countless individuals, especially during the pandemic. She's not only a listening ear, but she also provides hope and guidance to people who are struggling during these trying times. She personally assisted one individual by encouraging her to go back into the workforce after numerous setbacks. In addition to helping this person in securing employment, she also assisted with housing and even leads to a vehicle. So Latia wants to share a message with us. And we've pre-recorded that. And are we?
I want to acknowledge CNA Healthcare, because I couldn't have done this without you guys. I couldn't have done it without my supervisor. I couldn't have done it without my Teresa. I couldn't have done it without Darren. I couldn't have done it without any of you, because it is really a team effort. And it is also good to know that peers are really acknowledged at this organization, and we are really valued. And because of that team effort, and because of the values that you place on peers, it makes my job a lot easier. And I just want to say, through all the crises that I've been through in the last 4 months, that you guys have been very supportive, and I am so happy and appreciative to accept this award. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay, Latia. Woo, virtual clapping. Congratulations, Latia. Hi, Latia, you with us?
Yes, I am.
You want to say a word?
No, I said everything. Just thank you, Oakland County. Thank you, my organization, CNS, and my team, and just thank you. I'm excited to receive this award.
You're most welcome. We so appreciate all the work that you do. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right. Our second Hope Giver Award winner is Clifton Downs. Clifton is a Navy veteran, a peer support specialist with the Veterans Affairs, and a member of the Oakland County Homeless Veteran Task Force. He is also playing an integral role in helping to connect veterans with the VA's homeless department and the additional supports they need to be successful while overcoming their housing situations. Clifton works closely with veterans to assist them in getting the needs for substance use treatment and other important services. Congratulations, Clifton, on the Hope Giver Award, and he also has a pre-recorded message to share with us today.
Well, you know, as I was telling my wife and my sisters, and, my supervisor at work, Beth Baker, she's my chief at the VA, Veterans Community Resource Referral Center. You know, I just share my story with people who have been where I've been, you know, and so because someone has done it for me, so and it gave me some hope and encouragement, and it helped me to move forward in my life and be proactive in my life. So I figure if it worked for me, you know, it could work for anybody. So that's what I do. I just give people hope and encouragement, and I keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah, keep it moving.
Thank you, Clifford, for your message of hope. That was awesome. Is Clifford with us today? Yay, there's our clapping. I know that sounds like a little bit like static, but it's actually clapping. Yay. Congratulations to our two Hope Giver winners, Clifton and Latia. Thank you so much for all that you do. Our next award winner, peer award winners for Outstanding Achievement Award. That goes to a peer that achieved either a work goal or personal goal, such as a degree, certain training, certificate, some type of work, volunteer work, or something they achieved in their community. So it is now my pleasure to present the Outstanding Achievement Award to Sonia Becker-Bolter. Sonia has been the DPT trainer and assists with running groups and attending consults. Sonia is attending the Michigan State University, okay, Michigan State, MSU, in pursuit of her master's degree in social work, planning to graduate next year. That's awesome. She recently completed her internship at TTI, providing DPT therapy and case management. So congratulations to Sonia on the Outstanding Achievement Award, and so close to getting your degree. That's awesome. Are you with us, Sonia? Sonia, you with us? All right. Well, thank you for all that you do, and we look forward to you getting that MSU degree. Now for our last peer award. So I see Christine is texting me some things. There's some things I need to know. Okay. All right. Looks like we might have one more raffle winner at the end. That's good news. All right. So our last peer award is Making a Difference. And that peer goes above and beyond, thinks outside the box, increasing engagement for hard to reach individuals. They really work in a way that engages persons in their services and treatment and recovery. It is my pleasure to honor Jalen Mims with the Making a Difference Award. Jalen is recognized as a pioneer in the role of a certified youth peer support specialist. He is one of the longest standing certified youth peers in the state of Michigan and has provided peer support to many youth experiencing mental and behavioral health challenges. Jalen's personal journey has fueled his passion for helping others to be successful in managing and overcoming their struggles. Jalen is comfortable telling his story to inspire other youths, instilling hope and helping them recognize their full potential regardless of life hurdles. I have heard Jalen speak, and he's come and spoke to our board, and that's been an awesome experience. He's also part of the Easter Seals Youth Advisory Council, serving as youth chairman and launching a successful anti-bullying campaign. Way to go, Jalen. He often speaks on panels or to groups at events throughout the state As a youth peer, Jalen is always insightful and inspiring, and he's making a difference in the lives of many youth and teens. Congratulations, Jalen. Yay. Woo. Jalen, are you with us today?
Yeah, I'm here today.
Something you want to say?
Thanks so much. I really appreciate the honor from everybody, from OCHN, from the community itself, and for Easterfield. This job has always been I've always been really grateful for it, for being able to give me some value and, in like my hard times and have the opportunity to make a difference, in the lives of other people. So thanks again. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Terry, for nominating me, to Easterfield, for giving me the opportunity to keep working and making a difference in the lives of the community. And thanks everyone for just the continued support and for the differences you all make.
Thank you, Jalen. Yay! So congratulations to all of our Achievement Award winners, our Peer Award winners. It's awesome. We're celebrating some outstanding individuals, and I wish that each of you could know them individually. I know you just got a small piece of who they are and what they do, but they're fantastic individuals. We also had a number of nominees, and here's a list of all the Achievement Award and Peer Award nominees. It's difficult to choose. We have to narrow it down, but congratulations to all of our nominees. Yay, I'm gonna give you a virtual clap. Yay to all of our nominees. Congratulations.
Vicky Suter.
Yes, Nancy?
I wrote a speech out for today. Can I say it?
Yes, you can. So Nancy is our Director's Award winner, I believe. Yes, you are. Okay, go ahead, Nancy. Thanks for chiming in.
Okay, I'm extremely honored to be receiving such a prestigious award, the 2020 Director's Award. I am earnestly grateful for the recognition I have received because I'm very sure that every other nominee for this award was as capable, if not more, of winning this Director's Award. The support of family and friends has been valuable in encouraging me to work hard. It is not just my sole effort that has brought me here. I would like to make a special thank you to the Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior. Also, special thanks to Lois Schumer, who nominated me for this Director's Award. And lastly, special thanks to Communication and Community Outreach at OCHN for selecting me as winner of this award. This Director's Award will always be dear to me. It lifted me out of a depression. I have faced several challenges on my way here, but each one of them has only strengthened me to make me the person I am today. No one is immune to experiencing adversity. Difficulties can help us grow in faith, love, patience, and hope. It is a nice reminder to never give up, and it is never too late to make a difference right where you are.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Thanks for chiming in. Congratulations to all of our award winners. That was awesome. All right, what do we got next? We got a next slide. Oh, so it's our raffle. Surprise! One more raffle. So the winner of our $25 gift card, I've got to get to my phone, is Trisha Huffman. So Trisha Huffman, congratulations on your $25 gift card. You will be contacted to see how you want to get that. All right. Well, so we learned things. We celebrated people. It was awesome. I appreciate people being with us today. This is always a fun event. And, I'm glad we were still able to do it and we didn't have to cancel it. So thank you for all the people that put the effort in to make this happen. So there's a great quote on the screen. It says, make time to celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how big or small, because small accomplishment leads to big things, right? So just before we log off today, I want to know if anyone wants to share your favorite part of today's conference or an important message that you learned. So if you could raise your hand. So in your toolbox, if you can raise your hand, or if you could put something in the chat, we will read that, or you can unmute yourself. So does anybody want to share with us your favorite part of the conference or an important message you learned? We got anybody? Any hands raised? Anybody want to unmute? I'm going to assume that I was your favorite part of the conference then. No one
Vicky, I
wants to
see
share.
Dana has her hand up.
Okay. All right, Dana.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say that was a wonderful conference, probably the best virtual conference I've attended since the whole COVID-19 pandemic. And I do want to congratulate all the award winners as well as the nominees, and thank you for your service and advocating for the people we serve and educating people about all the wonderful things we do in this community. Thank you again. I look forward to meeting you all, hopefully face to face soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. So I do have Steve Bean says that he appreciated Mike Daly, well, that was okay. For me facilitating. Thanks, Steve. Susan Stevens says, thanks to Mike for teaching about advanced directives. Lori Gell says, I love the awards. All the presentations were great. However, the award for everyone's hard work is what I love to see. Let's see. All right. Thanks to the communications team and everybody that put this together. All right. Anybody? Oh, I see somebody has a hand up. Is that you, Jeffrey?
Yep.
All right. What you got?
First off, I want to congratulate all the award winners, and I know some of them from Rochester, Michigan, and the University of Iowa conference is a great conference to learn, and I'm hoping 2021 is in person and we'll go from here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes. Hopefully we will see you next year in person. That would be awesome.
Yep, wait for something up for that.
Yep. I see Joyce Rupp has her hand up. Joyce, you got something you want to share?
Actually, we have Lloyd. He would like to share something.
Okay, go ahead, Lloyd.
I just want to say, when we're out there looking for rights and respect, it's right and respect versus stigma. And when we say versus, the acronym is VS, that's Vicky Suter. So when you think of rights and respect versus stigma, we think of you, Vicky.
Thanks.
VS versus
You're
stigma.
awesome. You're awesome. All right, so we have Aisha asking, she needs to know how to pull up this recording. I think somebody in the communications team will tell us how to do that. So I think, go ahead, Christine.
Yep, we will post the recording under the news and events link, and all you'll have to do is click on it and it'll start playing. Pretty simple and easy.
All right, should be up soon. And so with that, that is the end of this, another year of our conferences. We've been doing these for a lot of years. We hope that we are able to continue doing them. And I thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for your input and your participation. And so with that, that concludes our conference and award presentations. Have a rest of a wonderful day. Enjoy your week. Take care, everybody. Hope to see you sometime soon.
Thank you, Vicky. You did an awesome job facilitating. I appreciate you.
Thank you.